Good morning, y'all. Guess what I'm headed to do this morning? Work in the potager garden. I am so happy to be able to come outside and reclaim my garden. I'm going to start on the back end of my garden right here. My raised beds here. I'm going to get them cleaned out. Look at this. I'm going to get them all cleaned out, add some compost so that I can sow some seeds in here for a fall crop, fall-winter crop. If you're new to our channel and you don't know much about what's going on, my garden has been neglected for months now. I've been super sick and have not been able to even walk out here. I've been diagnosed with Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism, and it's made me really, really sick. And I just haven't been able to come out and work in the garden. I've had to just let it go. And it is bad. My potager garden is my baby. And I've had to just let it go. And it's in bad shape. Once we found out what was really wrong with me, the biggest problem with me being sick is it was taking forever to get in to see a specialist. And I couldn't get any kind of treatment for it until I saw the specialist. So Jean kept calling them and finally got my appointment moved up just in time for the medicine to start working for me to be able to continue on with the Great Fall Garden Festival event that we just had last weekend, which was awesome. Anyway, the biggest issue that we were dealing with was getting me in to see a specialist. Once I finally got to go see him, he put me on some medication, and within a week and a half, I've just been feeling great. Like, I feel like my old self again. And I go back to the doctor at the end of October to discuss whether my thyroid needs to be removed or not. But as of right now, I am feeling so much better. I am feeling like myself again, and I am ready to reclaim my garden. We do have a plan and a strategy to reclaim my garden. So we're gonna go through one bed at a time, get it all weeded and cleaned up, and a lot of it is just hand weeding because I don't use herbicides or chemicals out here in the garden, and that really just means hand pulling or using a hoe. So it's going to take some time. As we get each bed weeded, then I'm going to plant it in a cover crop. I'm going to sow each bed thick in a cover crop. I'm going to get my seed order in this weekend with Hoss Tools for all of my cover crop seed. I'm going to be sowing a mixture of some different things. I'm going to do winter rye. I'm going to do Kodiak mustard because that is a good fumigant. That helps to rid your soil of nematodes and different issues like that. I'm going to do some chickpeas with a mixture of rye. I'm going to do turnips. I'm going to do one whole bed of turnips, rutabagas, and mustards, and maybe some kale. I'm just going to do a whole bed and just sow it, mix it all together and just sow it thick. And then that'll be a bed that we can also eat out of. My perfect window for sowing cover crops here in Central Alabama Zone 8 is October 1st through the 15th. Today, as I'm filming this video, it is September the 16th, which is also our sweet grandbaby Cooper's 4-month birthday. I can't believe he's already 4 months. So I have a little bit of an ambitious goal to have these beds weeded and prepped and ready for my cover crop seed at least by mid-October. And then all fall and winter, my beds will all have a good covering over them, and it will be in cover crops that will also be building my soil. We've always had a crop rotation in these garden beds each season, but usually fall and winter I designated a few beds for fall and winter crops like broccolis, cauliflowers, brassicas, cabbages, carrots, all of the wonderful root vegetables and greens that we love. We actually love the fall and winter garden more than we do the summer garden. We love the foods more. I love to garden in it more. And I know I'm desperately gonna miss that garden. With everything that's been going on with my health, I had to just make a decision to not try to put in a fall and winter garden this year and just plant cover crops and just let it do the work for me and help me build my soil. But since I'm feeling better, I can't go without planting anything. So my goal for this weekend is to get my raised beds cleaned out, to get some soil amendments, some compost in here, and to sow some carrots, some beets, some radishes, and I don't know, maybe a few crops like that I can grow in these raised beds, because this is something quick I can do. I can clean these beds out quickly, add some compost, and sow some seeds. So I'll at least have that growing. And I'm gonna do that one whole bed of turnips and rutabagas and mustards and kale. So we'll have that bed to eat out of. And the bed behind y'all here, it's gonna be super easy to clean that bed out. The chickens have basically done it for me. It's just a matter of getting these green bean vines off of the trellis. But I think I'm going to maybe plant some sweet peas on this trellis. And I'm gonna go to Petals from the Past and just pick up some plant starts of broccoli and cauliflower and whatever he has. I'm just gonna pick up some starts that I can go ahead and plant right here too. I like to start my own seeds for many reasons. First, it's just so much cheaper and more affordable, but also I just enjoy it so much. I enjoy seed starting. But this year I just was not able to do it. So I'm going to go buy plant starts and just plant those so that we can at least have something fresh to eat out of the garden this fall and winter. Hey Champ, I see you, buddy. I see you. He's so happy to see me in the garden. This is my garden partner, and I think he's been missing me. You been missing me, buddy? Hmm? Compost.
Can I not work on my fence?
Yep, after you help me pick this compost up.
Okay. Working on my goat fence.
It looks pretty good, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Raised beds are all weeded and cleaned out, and we just added some fresh compost to each bed. I'm watering them in really, really good today. And because my chickens are out right now, we've been letting the chickens out and just letting them forage on the garden and just in the woods and just forage. You know, it didn't matter if they messed up anything in the garden because there really wasn't anything growing that mattered. So we've been letting the chickens out for a few months and just letting them forage on the garden and forage in the woods, and they've been super happy. But Jean let them out this morning not knowing I was planning to sow some seeds. So I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. We won't be able to get them back in their coop until tonight when they go in to roost. So I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow and sow my seeds that I'm gonna plant in these raised beds. But I'm watering them in really, really good today. And I'm gonna water in the soil really good in the morning before I sow my seeds. That way the soil is really moist before I sow my seeds, and I don't have to water so much that I'll wash my seeds away. My asparagus has done great. It hasn't minded the neglect at all. But the strawberries, I've got two beds here, this one and that one that has my asparagus in it. And I had it companion planted with strawberries, and all of my strawberries died this year. They just got fried. They burned up and fried because of neglect. So I went ahead and placed my order with House Tools and pre-ordered a whole flat of Chandler strawberries, so that around the end of October or so, I'm leaving these beds open. I'm not going to be planting anything with these asparagus. I'm just going to leave them open. And then when my strawberry flat comes in, this bed will be all ready for me to pop those back in the beds around my asparagus. I love to companion plant these two beds with asparagus, strawberries, and forage. That makes a beautiful little companion family. They all benefit each other and help each other. Good morning, y'all. Yesterday, I got all of the raised beds weeded and cleaned out, and Jean and I filled them up with some fresh compost that I've been working on in my compost bins over there since it's been sitting since last fall. It had chicken manure, some goat manure cleanings out of their pen, and a bunch of just clippings from the garden and kitchen scraps from the kitchen. So it turned into some beautiful soil over the past, since last fall. And we filled these beds up with that compost. What I just finished doing is I dug these little trenches in this bed, and then I filled them up with some good mushroom compost. And I'm about to sow carrots and beets in this bed. What you doing?
These rotten watermelons.
Oh, the chickens are gonna be happy.
Have fun, you all. Do the watermelon crawl. Wow, wow.
Nothing goes to waste around here, even when we don't harvest all the watermelons. The chicken gets the waste, turns it into eggs for us and compost for the garden. Good job, girls. seeds in here. This is my little old-timey suitcase that I use to carry my seeds out to the garden that I'm gonna be using. It was Jean's mom's when she was a little girl, and it works really good to put just the seeds that I'm working with in here and bring them out here. Instead of having to bring a big case of all of my cool season vegetables, I just pull from it and put the ones that I'm gonna be using today in this little suitcase. So in this first bed, we're gonna do some carrots and beets. And I've got all different kinds in here. In this bed, I'm gonna do this bolero carrot. And I'm gonna do, let's see what beets we got. I'm gonna do the early wonder beet. So I've ended up with 5 little rows here in this raised bed. And I'm gonna plant 3 rows of this bolero carrot, and then I'm gonna alternate and plant 2 rows of the early wonder beet. They're good companions together. Carrots, of course, have a deep, long taproot. The vegetable, the fruit, is the root. And the beets have a small, round root, which is the vegetable, the root. And they don't compete for space in the ground, in the soil. So they're really good companions with each other. And it's a great way to be able to have a lot more growing in the same space. Then what I'm going to do is just take just a little bit of this soil and just lightly cover the seeds up. Not going to do it too much because the seeds are so tiny and they won't germinate. In my next row, I'm going to do my beets. The way I do my beet seed is I put them in the soil and just kind of press them in a little bit and cover them a little bit.
I think these guys like Just Dig It farms. That's some wild turkey. They come here almost every morning and evening. They go over to my dad and mom's, and then they come over here. They usually come right here, and they're right here outside the kitchen window. But they're a bunch of hens, and we've had up to 52 turkey at one time right here in the lower pasture. But they're cool to look at.
In my second bed, I've decided I'm going to plant some Swiss chard, bright lights going down the middle of it. And then on each side, I'm going to do the Touchstone Gold Beet and the Carota carrot. So my second bed will have chard, beets, and carrots. So I've got 2 beds full of carrots and beets and a little bit of chard. And I've got this bed here that's empty. Jean built me a new raised bed a few months ago probably, and now I have 5 of these beds. So in this bed, I'm gonna do some collards. We love collard greens around here. And in the middle of this bed, I'm just gonna sow it thick of some different kales. I'm gonna use red Russian kale, the Blue Ridge kale, and some lacinato kale. I'm just gonna kind of mix it up a little bit and just spread it all in the middle and just let it be thick of kale with the collards on the outside edge. I'm trying real hard to maximize my growing space here in my 5 raised beds so that I can actually have a fall and winter garden. It may not be on the scale that I usually do, but we will have some food that we can eat out of this garden this fall and winter. My window for starting onion seeds is around the first week or so in September. Today is September the 17th, and I'm a little late doing it, but I'm gonna see how we fare. Again, I'm in Central Alabama, Zone 8, and we grow short day onions here. Those are the ones that we can grow. And last year, for the very first time, I grew some onions from seed. Not all of them succeeded, but the ones that I did get were big, wonderful, sweet onions. First time I've ever grown onions from seed, and they were worth it. They were the best onions I've ever grown. So I plan to grow onions from seed from now on. So my window to sow the onion seeds is the 1st of September, and then they'll be ready to go in the ground in November, and then I'll be harvesting onions in spring. So, like I said, I'm about a week behind, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to see how we fare with these. I'm definitely always going to try to sow my onion seeds. There's some steps to it and a process to it. If you go over to Haas University at Haas Tools, there is a whole growing guide on starting onions from seeds. And I think it'll be really, really helpful for you if you're going to give this a try. If you don't want to do your onions from seeds, they also have some bundles that you can pre-order of onion starts that will come to you when it's time to plant them. I think I'm going to go ahead and place an order and get those coming to me as well, just in case, you know, I don't fare as well this year. Just like last year, I didn't fare that well with the amount of onions that I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and order some starts as well. And if all of these work and the starts work, that would be great. We can never have too many onions around here. I picked up a bag of this Burpee organic seed starting mix at Tractor Supply the other night because I haven't been able to get to Petals to get my big bale of Pro Mix that I use. And I needed to get these onions started, like I said, a week ago or so. I've got 3 trays here that are 50 sales each, and I got these awesome bottom trays from Haas. They are heavy duty bottom watering trays. They are awesome. These will probably last me my lifetime. And I want to order some of their sale trays that fit in this bottom tray, and they're really heavy duty. Right now I'm just using recycled ones that I got out of the dumpster when I worked at Petals. I'm just still using these, and I hope that by seed starting time, January, February of next year, I'll be able to invest in some of the heavy duty ones from Haas. But right now, these are working okay. I'm just going to fill these up and water them in really good. Like I said, the ones that we can grow are Plethora, not really sure how to say it, Red Creole, and Savannah. And these are the ones that I did last year. So I'm going to sow a tray of each. I'm just making a little indention, put my seed in there, cover it up. And if I had some perlite, I'd cover it with perlite. And then as they start to grow, I'm going to be fertilizing them. And as the little green stalk starts getting taller, I'm going to keep it cut. I'm always going to be giving it a haircut. And that helps the energy go into developing the bulb. But like I said, go over to Haas University. There's a whole growing guide on this. Well, you guys, we got some things accomplished this weekend. It is so good to be back in the garden with y'all. God bless you, and I'll see y'all on the next video.